RIP to adult animation. That's what happens today. We're discussing the 2000s Titan A.E. directed by the greatest animator of all time, Don Bluth. Titan A.E. began a little bit of a race for young male minds, the merchandise, and everything that would come with capturing some of that sweet gray matter. Titan A.E. leads into Disney's Atlantis, the Lost Empire, and Disney's Treasure Planet. Collectively, these movies lost a lot of money. And what went never came back. What faded into the night with these three movies, but more specifically, we're going to target the beginning of this run. It's a 3-year run. Titan A.E., Don Bluth, Matt Damon, Drew Barrymore. Let's go.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take 1.
Action!
AKAPAD, hey, we do cartoons, we do animation here. Welcome to AKAPAD's, the Film Buff Podcast. We're rocking and rolling. This is great. This is, I look at this as like our second animated movie that purposely I sat down, I studied, I watched, I researched just for this episode. I really haven't done that. I've done over 600, 700 something episodes, been doing this for a couple years now. And I purposely stayed away. Now, that doesn't mean we haven't done animation before. I went down a pretty good deep dive on some DC animation a couple years ago, ending with Flashpoint, an animated movie that I still absolutely love and adore today. But the tough thing is, I always had trouble concentrating. I had trouble focusing and just kind of like changing my frame and my experiences so I can absorb something. I took my own advice and got blown away by Don Bluth's 1997 Anastasia that I have labeled the greatest animated movie of all time. And we're still honoring Don Bluth because he's a name that you should never forget, that you should always know. And when it comes to great animators, you have to put him at the top of the list. In the 2000s, we were getting into this idea. We're coming off of anime, we're coming off of manga, we're coming off of the 90s having the subversive underground movement, the back counter, the underneath the counter, in the back of the video store movement that was manga. Japanese animation or anime, manga are the Japanese comic books. And we had movies like Akira. There was Project A.E, the Garver unit. These were all OVAs, like original video releases. Wicked City, Vampire Hunter D, Ninja Scroll, and you would kind of have to hunt them down. Some of the video stores had them tucked away. They weren't mainstream, and to your barrier to entry sometimes was $40-$50 for a less than 90-minute feature. It's insane. And since then, we've had some anime. We've had Ghost in the Shell. We've had Akira in development hell. Even Leonardo DiCaprio's company had the rights for Akira one time. That got people excited for a little bit. And we have Battle Angel Attila, who was that was a project that was shepherded by James Cameron, later directed by Robert Rodriguez, which I love. And guys, I love the live action Ghost in the Shell, and I absolutely love the live action Battle Angel. I don't know why they get hate. We tend to take that position a lot. And we're talking here about a movie that you can't go all in on a potential audience. Like let's just say anime helped discover a male audience for animation. As a studio, though, it's hard to completely sign off on something that's unknown in your marketplace. Importing things and things selling well import-wise is good, right? But it's not like when Lensman and Akira that were released theatrically here in the US, it's not like they lit the world on fire. So it becomes a little bit of an underground movement, but you have to build a little bit of data. You have to kind of start testing the waters and seeing what feels right. You just need to know. So you make a capital investment And in this case, for Titan A.E., you spend roughly $90 million. You roll in animation, the animation technology, like CGI, computer generated. You spend the money, you get some great actors to lend their voices. You have Matt Damon, Bill Pullman, John Leguizamo, Nathan Lane, Janine Garofalo, and Drew Barrymore. You get music by Graham Revell, who is, let's just go through some of his filmography real quick, because Graham is Freddy vs. Jason, Sin City, Pineapple Express, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Saint, The Crow. This guy's completely decorated. Career musician. So you get the best of the best. You get a big idea. Titan A.E. it takes place a little bit in the distant future. The movie opens with aliens attacking Earth. Which, like the Bill Pullman Independence Day connection, right? Intended. But aliens attack and obliterate Earth with a giant laser ray. And what escapes is a bunch of survivors, so like a bunch of refugees. Just like when the Titanic sinks, everyone hits the water, right? And then one of those surviving vessels is a vessel called Titan. And the movie's titled after that. And A.E. means after Earth. So the movie is really about Matt Damon's character, Cole. He has a embedded map to get back to Titan. The Dredge, the evil aliens, they're hunting for him because they know what Titan is. And Titan it's a wonderful piece of technology that can reform Earth, that can create a new Earth. Here's one of the best plot twists of all time. And I'm not just talking science fiction. I'm just talking if we're watching stories. When we get to the end of this movie, the Dredge powered the Titan and saved humanity. If this doesn't scream more people need to know about this, we maybe have to remake or update this or bring this back to light. I don't know what else does. And along the way, we have aliens and we have Matt Damon's character Cole. He's a little bit of, he's a rebellious youth, and he's basically a miner. He's a worker. He a salvager. They go through these salvage space stations and they cut them up and they sell them off for parts. Very much like that girl opening with Force Awakens. But you kind of see he's there's a little bit of speciesism, because all the other aliens don't like humans in this movie. But he gets picked up by some of these pirates, some Han Solo crew, if you will, and they go on this adventure, and it's a little bit of a quest. We go through different planets, different ideas. There's this one amazing sequence I love where there's these like nitrogen clouds, and it's these flying creatures, and I forget their name, but they look like the creatures from the Beastmaster movie, just with long snouts. But they fly, and they have these clouds, and of course the Dredge attacks, and it's just endless explosions. And we get a couple other slowdown sequences where we're supposed to soak it in and experience the beauty. And we have this other amazing sequence where Cole he takes the pilot, the Bill Pullman character, who's his senior, lets him fly, and it's amongst these like flying alien devil rays, and it's just one of those like beautiful sequences. Like, this is the glory of the universe. We get a little bit of tension with him and Drew Barrymore, and we get some nice character and creature designs and new concepts and aliens. And it's always fun when we see that there's always the gimmick of, oh, we're eating this type thing, and it's like like something disgusting, right? We always see that in these like alien cantina, Star Wars cantina like settings. So we get all of this stuff, and we get this one amazing movie soundtrack. This movie, if you go through if you just go to like Spotify or something and you just Titan A.E soundtrack, there's some great music connected to this movie. The movie had the soundtrack of the time. I feel like it had design work and production value of the time. Now, there was always like rumors that they ran out of money at the end. Right? So we get a little bit of a rushed ending. I don't know. Here we go. During production, Fox Studios suffered a number of cutbacks, which ultimately led to its closure in 2000. Over 300 animation staff were let. So the company collapsed around this movie. So maybe things could get changed. Maybe, right? Like, it seems like we had like a money flow problem. But with all of that said, and we all know the true production of some of these movies, meaning like things could get reported, but we all know what it was like to be in the trenches, and maybe some things are harder, some things are easier. But what we get out of this is a wonderfully designed movie. We have a movie that rolls in new animation technology. We have a amazing soundtrack, a amazing voice cast, and the beginning of what would be the play for the male audience, the male action audience. Now, Disney's going to follow up with Disney's Atlantis: The Lost Empire. And then at that point, you almost want to say from like 2000, 2001 until they acquired Star Wars and Marvel, Disney really failed in developing the young male audience. They were really, really good with Lizzie McGuire and the Disney princesses, and the list goes on and on. They were masters at curating young females into the brand. Young males always escaped them, and technically, it's still escaping them now. It really, I know we had the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but everything just seems to be, ablazed Disney. But Disney makes Atlantis: The Lost Empire. So let's just say Titan A.E cost $90 million, made $40 million. Atlantis: The Lost Empire, the following year, let's take the high, $120 million. Okay, box office 186. Okay, not too shabby, but again, we want these movies, we want animated movies to be between 200 to 300 million. Treasure Planet 140, and Treasure Planet comes in at 109. Treasure Planet and Atlantis, when it even comes to Disneyites and animation freaks, you mostly have to remind them of Treasure Planet. Atlantis: The Lost Empire, in the realm of commentary and the people that follow this stuff or follow comic books, and it's all linked, right? Like, you read the comic book, you watch professional wrestling. Mike Mignola, the guy behind Hellboy, the co-creator of Hellboy, he came on in Atlantis: The Lost Empire and served as a production designer. And there's a book you can get. I believe it's The Making of Atlantis: The Lost Empire, and it has a ton of his artwork in it. But he's known for that, and the movie's known for that. But when it comes to just straight up efforts and ideas, it's just not remembered. It's not like the merchandise and the action figures have gone up in value. Like, nothing. Like, there's nothing that looks back to any of these three movies. And it's like, hey, let's just kind of pay attention to this a little bit. Like, let's give this another shot. Atlantis also led to, I believe, one or two straight to VHS sequels and a series. So they pushed it, they pipelined it, which is a lot of the Disney method. We do see that with Star Wars, where people may not like the Acolyte or Book of Boba Fett, but they have another 3 things coming. Disney makes these long-term bets from time to time with some of their properties, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Trust me, having a Atlantis: The Lost Empire TV series, an animated series, syndicated Monday through Friday, based on the movie, and if the movie really pops and just goes crazy and it resonates, Just imagine how that flows into something that's daily, right? It's a big bet, and it's worth of note. It's worth taking note. And Treasure Planet, which I would say might be the most artistic and well designed and it might be the top of all three of these. Treasure Planet is just jaw dropping to see sometimes. It has an opening surf sequence where this dude's surfing through clouds. Again, more clouds. Very much like Tarzan, what we saw with Glen Keane's animation with Tarzan. But Treasure Planet is 20,100,000,000% there. Titan A.E. is worth watching because I love the hook at the end. I love the characters in that. I appreciate the character design. It has like somewhat of a steampunk feel. And Atlantis is a period movie. How about that? Period animated movie. And that's got wonderful things. But all three of these movies almost have the same hook. They have the same MacGuffin. They're almost the same movie. And if you're just curious of how you can reskin something in the sequence of 3 years, this is your trilogy. Titan A.E., Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and Treasure Planet. I go back to Titan A.E. the most because I get a little bit of... I remember seeing this movie in the theater, and I just even remember back then of realizing how close this movie was. And I think there's something to be studied in that scenario. Again, it's easy to discuss and analyze what's successful. I was always more interested in what they might call like the near misses. Airplane collision technology there. It's a near miss. That's what happens when you almost fly into another jet. AKAPAD here, guys. Titan A.E. Put it on your watch list. Then watch Atlantis, The Lost Empire. And go watch Treasure Planet. Love you guys.